All right, so I'm doing another daily checkup on the 300ZX, and I'm so sorry for bringing this up again. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about the power steering that's going on in this thing, but luckily there are no new leaks, so the power steering system is nicely sealed. However, I made a new discovery about the power steering system. So I always noticed that there was a plug coming out of the bottom of the rack, so I was wondering, is that electronically assisted? Because I will say, the power steering in the 300ZX always felt like a solid 5 out of 10. For example, like the 240 is a 10 out of 10, Integra's 10 out of 10. Like the wheel just moved with ease. But something about the Z, it felt like it was dragging. It wasn't giving like full pressure. And I always had it plugged in to one of the harnesses. It was actually this plug right here. And this female connector is the same exact shape as this connector. So I figured, you know what, let's just switch the plugs around and see if it makes a difference. Oh my gosh. Solid difference. Now this thing steers like a solid 12 out of 10. I know if I start it up and show you guys, I mean, it's not like you guys can feel the wheel, but oh my gosh, it's so smooth. But I want to share this information because that answers a few questions that I personally had. I was starting to think that maybe the power steering system electronically was controlled by the ECU for the engine, but this confirms that there's a separate ECU that is controlling the power steering assist. And no, I do not have the power steering pressure sensor plugged in. That's what this plug is. Because this aftermarket pressure line has no fitting for a sensor to fit in it. So I'm not too sure how it's giving out its signal, but hey, it's working, so I'm not complaining. But I was starting to look over here at the intake side of things because it's time to start cleaning up this engine bay and getting ready for some serious power. Now I do plan to work my way up to some serious power. I'm not just gonna go right off the bat max power, because I've always believed in taking steps in increments. So for example, first step is going to be redoing this intake, because right now I think we have 4 90-degree bends. There's 2 here and then another 2 under this headlight situation. After we do that, maybe we'll get a dyno tuned and see what this stock KA is really putting out in the 300ZX. Not that the chassis will differ the horsepower it gives out, but I don't know. I'm just curious, honestly, what this engine's making, especially with only 80,000 miles. That's what the odometer was at when I pulled it in the junkyard. Still has the junkyard sticker on there too. But after we get the baseline stock number, then I want to put on the new harness and a brand new ECU. I'll share more with you guys about what electronics I've chosen once we get to that stage. It'll be really interesting. It'll be my first time doing an aftermarket harness and ECU setup. All of my other cars, I've used a stock harness and just merged the two together. For example, my 240SX has an RB25 in it, but it has a stock engine harness and a stock 240 body harness. And I just made my own jumper harness to combine the two. Never had a use for an aftermarket ECU, but honestly, with this KA, I want it to be reliable. I want it to do well. It's gonna be sick. I feel like we're at this weird limbo stage between all the project cars. They all need something so major that I can't complete all at once. For the 240, I need an additional hand to put the cage in, and honestly, I want it TIG welded. I don't want to MIG weld that in. This car just needs its own shop to restore. Fran's car, we're kind of just saving up for parts at this point. This car is basically done, but I also need to save up for those lips for the front and then get that one face re-chromed. And then we get down to the Z. I've been really trying to knock off things in the to-do list on this car so we can get it ready for the season. So with that being said, let's start getting this rear subframe ready to rock. And also shout out to Peyton for giving me the subframe. It's a nice rust-free candidate. It has some honestly pretty decent bushings still in it, which is pretty rare. Usually these are always toast. These are probably the best conditioned stock bushings I've ever seen. Although there is some dry rotting going on. But you know what? While we have the opportunity, I'm going to grind these out. Then we'll probably get this subframe powder coated. Not sure on what color yet. I'm open to ideas. I've also never done bushings on a Z subframe, but honestly they look the same as an S chassis, or at least very similar. Although these are different because S13 has solid bushings in the rear, so I'll have to learn how to do that. I see a lot of people burning the bushings out. That would be nice, but unfortunately I can't really do that here in a residential area. So I use these 3 main tools that anyone can have. I got a regular drill, and I'm gonna use these hole saw bits, or I guess I should say hole dozers. Hammer, obviously, to whack it out. We're gonna use a sawzall at some point so we can make a cut in the outer race and hammer this bushing up or down, depending on which way it's installed. Step 1, let's figure out what size hole saw we need to use. It seems like it's hitting the metal and not the bushing. The goal with this is to grind the bushing out. So that's why I got these smaller ones. I got 1 3/4 and 1 1/2. We'll see which one works better. We're gonna start with an 1 3/4 and see how this one works. So far, so good. So far, I've only drilled the bushings from the top. Let's see how loose they are. Ooh, that might be good enough. You can see how hot that rubber got. So now the next thing we want to do is try and bang out this centerpiece. All right, so probably the best idea here is to flip it over and drill out from the bottom now. All right, let's try again now that the bottom is drilled. I can already tell that these are loose because it's off center. Okay, since this one is so soupy, I think I can just pull it out. I think the hammer isn't really helping too much here. Oh, it's just barely caught on something. All right, I think I'm gonna take out the Sawzall one step early because I think these bushings are different than the S13. I keep spinning it and it's not going up or down, so maybe there's something else holding it in. And I think these bushings are fluid filled. And the only reason why I'm assuming that is because all 4 bushings on the 300ZX are leaking, which I thought was very interesting, especially coming from an S13 where these are hollow. You can see through them. Well, let's see if we can just drill this around the circumference. Oh, this is gonna be tough. We resorted back to the hammer. The worst part is that this is supposed to be the easiest step in this entire process. Oh, we got 1 out of 4. Oh, this bushing is weird. There's a washer or something inside of it? Yeah, it definitely was fluid filled. That just adds to my hypothesis. A 300ZX Z32 is just a better built S chassis. That step was a lot harder than I anticipated, but now we can finally move on. So next step we want to do is grab the Sawzall, and then we're gonna cut a few relief cuts straight up and down. And by the looks of it, we're probably gonna hammer this out from the bottom up, because you can see this lip hangs over the top of the subframe. The bottom does not have that. And that goes for all 4. Now you also don't want to go too deep on this because then you will start cutting through the subframe. All right, I only made 2 relief cuts on this bushing, but you can see that this outer race is cut all the way to the edge, and same with that one. So I'm gonna try and use a punch or a flathead screwdriver and try and hammer right around here. And the goal is to try and curl this in, and then you can hit the whole mass together. I spent probably 30 to 45 minutes pounding out this one bushing, but at least I had this beautiful sunset view. Now that I figured it out, I'm gonna share with you guys the method that I use that I think works the best. At least without a press, because a press would be really nice right now. We didn't leave too much damage on the subframe. These are just missed hammers. And then a little nick from the Sawzall. So we're gonna start by cutting off this rubber line on the top here. Then we're gonna cut a plus on top with the Sawzall. And then we're gonna follow those relief cuts down through the whole thing. Now we did also learn through doing this that these bushings are reinforced. There was an additional inner race. It looks like that's where that bushing was sitting, in between these 2 washers, I guess. Quite the learning experience. To start us off, let's cut this rubber away. Now we can see this metal race a lot more clear. We'll get our plus made on top. That went all the way through, okay. Next way, can't really fit it perfectly, so it's gonna be a little crooked. Now we're gonna go straight down on all 4 sides. Hold up, did that just pry up? I thought I saw this sliding up. We might have just gotten lucky with this one. No way. What? Okay, so this is the inner race. I cannot believe that just slid up like that. I've never had that happen. Holy crap. Okay, so now we just have the outer race. This should be super easy. I'm so nervous to cut too deep because I don't want to cut through the subframe. What? What? I cannot believe that just happened. Have you guys ever witnessed that? These just slid out. Dude, the first one, I had a beat out. I'm blessed. Hopefully the next 2 go that smoothly. But honestly, I think I've unlocked the method. If it worked that smoothly, you can see where it drilled through. There's one solid cut all the way through it, and that was enough to loosen it up. Woo! 2 for 3. Let's get that last one. Oh, we're done. We're finished. Oh, I almost laid in the grease. Oh, I do need to lay down for a second though. Oh, we didn't do the diff bushings yet. I might do those tomorrow. At least the hardest part of the subframe is done. But man, that was a struggle. But I only really struggled on the first one. Cheesy quote incoming. Sometimes you gotta struggle to figure out how to get past the hardship. I had no idea these bushings were gonna be different from what I was used to, but I'm almost glad that they were, because now I learned something else. I really hope this method helps someone out in the long run. What are some ways you guys replace subframe bushings other than burning them out? I know that method. But you still have to hammer out that metal race, so I don't know. Probably a press would be the easiest, right? The funny thing is, I don't even have the new bushings for this subframe yet. I've just been dreading pulling the old bushings out. So now that's done, I guess I can order them. I still don't know if I want to get solid or poly. I have solid on the 240, but this has a welded diff. I think I might end up putting a two-way diff in the Z. It's better overall for handling and performance. And honestly, with the Z, I'm trying to step it up a notch, so we might have to go with a two-way. But still undecided about poly or solid. All right, we have none other than Mr. Smokes in the building. What do you think of our intake tube going on here, brother?
Nightmare system right here.
Nightmare system? What do you mean? It works.
I'm surprised it actually ran. Like,
dude, I made this out of all spare parts I found in a scrap bin. Actually, I think this is off a Nate's Skyline.
I remember watching that.
Oh yeah, this is the exhaust hanger. Like, this is just completely thrown together. But yeah, the goal today is to clean that intake tube up. We have two pipes here from Vibrant. These are 3-inch. One's a 90 and one's a 45. Yeah, we might need to get some parts to get this I guess pipe. What size do you think that is? I don't even know. 1/2 inch?
Oh, this little guy?
Yeah.
Oh, probably 1/2 inch.
Yeah, something for the idle air control valve. I'm not sure what I'll do with this one. Should I just cap it off?
I mean, a lot of cars honestly some cars don't even run catch cans. They'll actually just have a breather right here, like an actual
really?
filter.
We'll bet. We're gonna start with just taking all this off. Ta-da! I think this will fit. All right, we got the Skyline 90, the KA coupler, another 90, the stock Z pipe. I don't even know what to call this thing. And then we still got that to work with, but this is a good start. I'm still surprised this exhaust hanger worked as the idle air control valve port.
I mean, if it works, it works.
If it works, it works. It was a free solution.
It's even got bead rolling on it for it.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
So this side? No. Bom,
Man,
bom, bom.
that's why you should always inspect your parts before you buy them. I made a rookie mistake.
Some weird
Oh yeah, it's been tossed around.
Yeah. Was tossed, and also look at bubble wrap. No bubble wrap.
Yeah, true.
So they obviously just yeeted it in this box.
Oh well, we'll make it work. Smokes came up with the first plan of attack, and we realized we don't even have a bandsaw here. So we're gonna go pick up some tools from our local Harbor Freight, BRB. We have returned, and what we got was a disc that can cut through aluminum on this straight cut. We didn't want to use angle grinders because, again, we're trying to make this look nice. Now Smokes is lining up one of the, is this a 45? Oh, this is a 90.
Well, there's no way you can achieve that bend. You'll be running into with this in the stock form. So we're going to start by cutting just about 1 inch off. See if I can get it in there. And then keep cutting away as it is.
Yeah, we found this thing in the basement.
Yeah, it's got some wood dust, some real dust. I'm surprised in how well that cut. I was actually kind of scared. I've never used a hemp, well, not a hemp saw. This is a miter saw.
Try and get all the little flakes off so we don't throw it in the throttle body. Oh, also, we picked up some 1/2 inch tubing so we can try and put this somewhere on our intake pipe so we can utilize it for our idle air control valve. Oh, it is the right size, thank God. And I think for now we are gonna convert this to a breather while I'm trying to decide a catch can setup for this thing. What are we thinking, boss? Ooh, it's looking real good.
I don't know if you want it butt up against there or...
Probably gapped out a little bit, you know.
Obviously you don't want it smashed on there, but I'm trying to, there's not much clearance we can do. It's gonna be funky, man. It's gonna be a tight baby.
It's gonna be a tight squeeze. I think we need to cut this 90-degree bend to be even sharper of a 90 because it's not gonna fit how we want it to.
If we're off down there, like that.
Oh, so now we can add another twist to it, huh?
Twisty twist. Well, yeah, look at that, 45 right into it.
I mean, this is aluminum. Can we weld it to that, or is it different?
Honestly? Yeah, you can.
Really?
Yeah.
Should I pop the throttle body off?
I mean, if you really want to.
I mean, if that'll make it easier and better,
yeah,
I'm all for it. Alrighty, guess I'll grab the Allen keys, looks like. Just like the SR.
This is going to be a first for me.
Really?
I've never welded right to somebody's throttle body.
Never welded to a throttle body?
No, I've chopped turbos in half. I've Well, not in half. I've chopped the inlets off turbos and welded them.
What are you worried about a throttle body for then?
No, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I see.
This is a first.
A first.
I've just never done it.
I got you. All right, so far so good. What are we stuck on here? Don't tell me there's a coolant line that's super far underneath. Looks like we have one coolant line here though. Either way, I'm probably gonna delete it while it's off. Got the throttle body off, plugged up some coolant lines, and Smokes has just finished scrubbing this throttle body out.
Thing was disgusting.
Yeah, the whole thing was like black.
Yeah.
Carbon on the inside, grease and oil on the outside.
KA
Yep.
stuff.
Typical KA. Is it 30 years old now? Yeah, this came out of a 93. So, use some Scotch-Brite.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, that cleaned it up really nice, damn.
Yeah.
Also, luckily I do have a new gasket for this throttle body. I was planning to refresh the entire intake manifold. We might have to do that another time, but we're gonna start with just doing the throttle body gasket while we're modifying it. Quick alignment marks. Setting up the Smokes welding station over here. And what is all this?
Basically, it's all my TIG cups and gas lenses and just random accessories. Like this one is made out of quartz, so I can weld into places and actually look through the glass.
Really?
Yeah, so I can watch what I'm doing.
That's pretty cool. So you're pressing down on the pedal, and this is how you set the gas.
Yeah.
It's a floating ball. That's so cool.
So yeah, usually I run around 15 to 20, but yeah, today we're gonna go 20 to this cast, and I don't want to have, and it's also over outside, so.
Right. Fully tacked up. Test fit.
Yeah, I'm gonna just
Quick deburr.
should have did it before it was all tacked together, but I forgot what this side.
See how this thing fits.
Oh, this might be fun now.
Oh, great. Next obstacle.
I didn't think about that far.
Me either. All right. Test fit V1. This looks pretty dang good, dude. I was expecting way harsher bends, if I'm going to be honest with you.
That's the one thing I didn't want to do. Is before it was 90 on 90 on another 90 on another 90. And that's just not how you want anything.
Any airflow, especially.
Yeah, that's a 45. That's like a 22 and a half. That's a straight degrees, and then that's more like a 35, maybe 40 degrees. So
Sweet.
It's very shallow.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
No harsh bends.
Tacked in and confirmed. Got the pipe fully welded. Now for the final test fit.
And remembering how I shimmied this thing in here.
Yeah. We've got the intercooler pipe successfully test fitted. Now what we're gonna work on is trying to get this idle air control valve hose connected, because obviously he has nowhere to go right now. So we're trying to think of where we should drill over here. We already kind of have a general idea, probably gonna mount it in a similar location to where it was before. Smokes is over here prepping a piece of the pipe, and then we're gonna trim it down to size. Wiggling?
No, whittling.
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 Handcrafted.
We don't have the correct stuff. It's at my work right now, so it's like cutting butter, bud. It's fine.
Man, we're working with what we got here. Someday we'll get a shop with all the right equipment.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Sooner than later.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Slight bend.
We're hoping it doesn't crush itself.
I'm heating up Smokes. It's like 30 degrees outside.
It's cold than a bitch out here. Feels great though.
It's working?
Yeah, dude.
Never thought I'd be using a heat gun to heat up Mr. Smokes. Yeah, a person. A whole person.
Oh, you have to hold on. We're blowing the gas away for a second.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I was like, why did you bubble up on me?
Oops. Here, I'll stay on this side. Smokes has done a killer job welding up this intercooler pipe. We even went ahead and welded on this bung. This is going to be used for an intake air temp sensor. That's going to become handy when we put an aftermarket ECU on. He also mentioned he's never driven right-hand drive before. And I was like, hey, we got one here. Why don't you go take her around the block? Show this thing some love. It's been a minute. Ah, I love this car. My first car. I think it's been 11 years, maybe 12. There we go. The curb really made a difference. You returned in one piece. Well, what'd you think?
When can I get a real? I need one. I need one right now.
A right-hand drive or just an Integra?
Just a right-hand drive car. It was so much fun.
Wasn't it?
All right, I can tell you now, just because I've been driving manual for 8 years consecutive, I kept going for the right hand when I would hit the brake.
Right out of instinct, right?
Instinct. I was going for the right, and I was like, the second I hit the door, though, I went right back to the left. I was like, okay, we know where we're at. We know where we're at. But other than that, I'm not that bad. Don't like your clutch.
Is it just high or low?
It's high.
Oh.
The engagement is like literally, like
yeah, it's at the
right
top,
there,
right?
Right there. That's full engagement. So
Yep.
I was like, I moved my seat up expecting the engagement to be like midway.
Mm-hmm.
No, I need to sit all the way back.
Yeah, we never did adjust the clutch pedal when we replaced the clutch. Oh, how about the turn signal?
I didn't. That one got me for a second because I hit this. I was like, oh, don't break that, son of a bitch. Is that like a JDM ding?
That's early spec ding.
Oh.
OBD1 ding.
I've never heard OBD1 ding.
Dude, the new ding is so annoying. It's like beep 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 beep.
It's it's Morse code for H.
Yeah, H for Honda.
That has nothing. The new gen, they got rid of it. I don't know what generation they got rid of it, but
Yeah, I love the ding. It's a manual clicker. Just like the S13. Just like a chime in a box.
Yeah, just going for it.
Super cool.
That's OG as hell.
Yeah, not too shabby of a car, eh?
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking right now when I get home for right-hand drive cars. Or if you want a right-hand drive swap on EK.
Man,
Is that a lot of work?
it's too much work. Let's not do that again.
It won't look like this.
I told myself never again when I did this car. Then I got the 240. I didn't right-hand drive swap that one. That one came right-hand drive.
I know, but you did still do enough work to right-hand drive swap it. Your trunk swap.
Yeah, trunk swap. Yeah, I just put a new trunk on it.
Basically the same thing, but in the ass instead of the front. Yeah, it's wild, man.
Smokes and I finally got this new pipe onto the car. Although we didn't put in the sensor yet, so Smokes is gonna insert his sensor.
Yep.
And we're gonna go for a test start to see if it runs. Typical KA. There we go. It works. Now I am probably going to install that sensor so we don't have a vacuum leak. I just taped up the sensor for now to prevent it from getting any damage or water in the plug.
Good.
Oh dude, we gained like 20 horsepower.
More like 40.
4D.
4D.
A little peppier, I'm sure.
Probably definitely missing all the boost leaks, so well, not boost leaks, but the vacuum.
Yeah. I think those hoses were starting to dry rot, so.
Starting to? They were starting to like 10 years ago.
all right, yeah, you're right. Ooh. I always hit speed bumps straight on. I'm just kidding, not always. Now yes, the test drive may have been successful, but there is one important thing I wonder if anyone else noticed. Since the car is still running on the factory ECU and running on the MAF, that means that this open port is technically a vacuum leak. So I picked up this 1/8 NPT barb fitting adapter. So I'm gonna take out this IAT that's not even plugged in right now and try and connect this port to the valve cover. Now yeah, this port is much smaller than the valve cover port, but it's still gonna get the job done and it will prevent a vacuum leak. That way when we do get this thing dyno tested, it'll be accurate. I'm pretty happy with how this pipe turned out. Looks much cleaner than what was in there before. And there we go, we got our temporary solution until we have an aftermarket ECU on here. Cool. Well guys, I guess that's gonna end today's video. Thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to see more. See you guys in the next one. Peace. Sweet.